A very good morning to all of you, and welcome to the Sunday version of yesterday's Catterday, starting off with leopards and now with our beloved pride of lions. What a fantastic way to start off the sunrise safari. And first thing I'm going to say is we have 6 gorgeous little Nkuhuma cubs. I could not be happier. There are 6 of them here. So a very good morning to all of you. My name is Jamie. This morning I have Gendre on camera with me. Look, that was Gendre's thumb. That's all we really see of the cameraman for the most part, unless we put them on camera. Oh, there you go. I've just seen the tip of Gendre's shoe. Let's get back to the business at hand. The Nkuhumas are all grouped together. We've got 5 lionesses. There is 1 cub suckling off to the left. Little one. They still look a little bit thin, but this is fantastic news. The fact that there are 6 of them here is a very, very positive sign. There's 2 of them, there's 2 of them suckling over there, with a third one lying off at the back. And then there's 2 of them that are sort of hidden behind a tree right now. I can't show you them, but there are 6 Nkuhuma cubs, all present and accounted for. This is fantastic. We've got all 5 lionesses as well. I'm still getting to, since I have just arrived in the sighting, I'm still coming to grips with exactly which lionesses we have here. I mean, which one is where. And I've been giving them a little bit of extra space. We spoke about this yesterday morning. And the fact that whatever's caused this situation, but the fact that some of the lionesses are struggling a little bit in terms of walking. I don't want to make them feel pressured or scared in any way. It's just, even though we know our Nkuhumas incredibly well, they've become incredibly relaxed in our company. To push forward now, they are essentially an injured animal. So rather than go any closer, we're just going to keep giving them space. We're going to watch and see exactly where they go. Really interesting that they killed 2 buffalo 2 days ago, eaten one. And as far as I could tell, they've left the other to the vultures. They haven't returned there at all. It really, truly is fascinating that that's been the case. And I don't know why exactly it is. It's almost as though, actually, I don't even know what it is, that they haven't gone back to that buffalo. I mean, they're all sporting, they were yesterday, they were all sporting enormous bellies, looking very full and very happy. Well, not very happy with life, but very full at least. So perhaps it's just that they're going to go there a little bit later. And perhaps they lost it to the hyenas, because I have heard hyena calling this morning, which would be a really lovely sight to see. And in fact, we might go and investigate what's happening with that buffalo carcass in a little bit on our sunrise safari. And thank you so much to those of you who sent through the update on the male lion roaring on the dam camera. I was actually just doing a cursory check of this road before heading off in search of him. But I can't go across the dam wall, so I had to go all the way around anyway. So I just thought we'd pop round through here, check on the Nkuhumas, and then go back to the search for him in a moment. Guessing it was Mfumo, since he was here yesterday, but it could be any one of the Birmingham boys roaring away. It's such a nice sound to wake up to. I wonder whether or not we're going to see any hyena today as well. I just feel like this is such a good day. With 6 cubs, now I'm feeling like we might get lucky with hyena as well. It's not just Brent and myself in the vehicles. Byron is out on foot, which is, of course, one of the best ways to explore the African bush. Let's head across so that he can say good morning. While the Queen of Djuma ponders what she's going to do with her morning and how she's going to approach it, we are still with the incredible Nkuhumas, waiting for the sun to rise so that we can really enjoy the beauty of these particular cats. Amber Eyes is giving her toes a thorough clean, a very thorough clean. That paw is probably spotless after the attentions that she's given it this morning. She's cleaned each claw sheath. You can see her claws sticking out there a little bit. There you go, girl. Right in between the toes, getting to all of the ticks that might have settled there, any kind of burrs or something similar. Hey, gorgeous. Now, Amber Eyes, of course, was the one that to me, or one of the lionesses that to me yesterday was not walking particularly well. And we discussed the possibility that it was all part of what struck down the two cubs that have died, or if it was possibly a coincidental injury. It seemed a little bit odd that 3 of the 5 lionesses were essentially displaying exactly the same symptoms. The amber eyes seem to be the worst, and I'm hoping at some point she's going to get up and we can see whether or not she's any better. I think they're going to be. I honestly think that buffalo meal has made the difference. The fact that the sixth cub has returned is such an encouraging sign. I think they're going to pull through. I think they're going to be absolutely fine. And I'm sure all of you at home are feeling exactly the same. Such a relief to know that our incredible Nkuhumas have shown themselves to be incredible once again and seem to be kicking whatever it is that has afflicted them. For anybody that has joined these safaris for the first time, the two cubs, the preliminary results that came back from the autopsies conducted on the two cubs that died seemed to suggest something known as white muscle disease, which is a deficiency of vitamin E and sort of by proxy as selenium as well, and caused massive weakness in their muscles. And that automatically sort of created this collapsing of the back legs and of the bottoms and the tails. But the fact that we've got the missing cub, because one of the cubs disappeared and wasn't moving, and I think Brent heard it and couldn't find it. I'm not sure exactly whether or not where exactly it was, but I think it was probably not too far away from where we are now, close to the old hyena den. And the fact that the missing cub has returned is really a very positive sign. Perhaps they just needed that particular buffalo meal to help them on their way to healing. They did also kill 2 buffalo the night before we saw Amber Eyes limping, although Brent said that he noticed that she was walking a little bit stiffly a couple of days ago. Now, it's nice to see that she is still looking healthy. We just have to, well, I mean, look at her morning yoga. She seems positively, I always find it amazing, a cat's ability to do that. Makes my hamstrings hurt at the thought. And that left back leg has had one thorough clean. So we're just waiting to see if Amber Eyes gets up. We are reporting all of the information and all that we observe, including clips, to the little Franklin. I'm bobbing along. But yes, just to finish that thought, we are reporting everything that we see and sending through the clips that we have recorded to the authorities. We will, as soon as we know what the conclusion is, we will let you know. Crested Franklin, slowly but surely bobbing towards the lions. They tend not to be terribly concerned about the presence of lions. They don't feel particularly threatened. I think they know that their reaction times are quick enough to move out of their way, and that for the most part a lion is not going to waste energy chasing a Franklin. Cub maybe, just out of playfulness, but it's unlikely. I'm pretty sure that this crested Franklin knows exactly what's potting this morning, knows there are lions there, and isn't terribly concerned. Going about morning breakfast. It is a truly beautiful morning. Oh, it's going to be absolutely stunning. Lovely. Nkuhuma's resting up. I would like to reposition, but I noticed earlier when we moved in, the anxious look in their eyes when we moved a little bit further in. And good morning to Mary. You were wondering, having just seen Amber Eyes cleaning her paws, whether or not if a lion gets a thorn in its foot, it will pull the thorn out, or if it will fall out naturally on its own. It depends on the thorn, really. So, Mary, yes, they can pull a thorn out, although they're not necessarily always very good at it. And occasionally what they do, especially when they're rasping, and perhaps those of you with pets will have experienced this before, sometimes the licking motion and the nibbling motion, they don't quite get it right. It's not like they have a ready-made set of tweezers. Their teeth are built for slightly more bulky operations. And sometimes they push the thorn further into the pad of the foot, and then they've just got to wait for it to fall out naturally. Obviously, the body does what the body does best, which is treat it as a foreign object, build up, send out a whole load of white blood cells, and that pus build-up will eventually push it out of the skin. And very seldom, but every now and again, a thorn injury can actually severely debilitate an animal. It becomes very difficult for them to walk. It gets very nastily infected. but that is very, very unusual, and for the most part they are quite good at navigating what can only be described as a rather thorny environment. Now, I think we're all waxing lyrical about the beauty of this morning's morning. Let's head across to Byron so that you can have a look at it from a different perspective. The birds on this beautiful morning are particularly cheerful. I feel like I have to shout over the volume of the screeches of the crested francolin, one of which nearly flew into the car. It went flapping off in our direction. The lionesses all looked up at us in amusement, what I imagined to be amusement, as the francolin had to do some frantic flapping in order to avoid landing on my bonnet, which would have been a very interesting experience indeed. We've been sitting with these lions. I don't think that they... Oh, hold on. Somebody's stretching. I think that's the young lioness. Unless I'm very much mistaken. It's a bit difficult to tell from the back of her head, but I think it's the young lioness. She's up. Okay, I'm going to hold back on what I was about to say, which was that I was going to start moving off. Oh. Flop. Right next to Amber Eyes. But yes, I might leave them. I might go and examine what's happening with that buffalo carcass. I've been listening very, very carefully just to see, or listen, really, for any sounds of hyenas feeding, because that would be a very exciting sighting, seeing as I've pretty much almost forgotten what a hyena looks like. But it's all been quiet since the first few hyena whoops. Now, Chris, you were wondering if the Nkuhuma Pride were to be depleted, and I'm going to preface this by saying I don't think they are going to be. I think they're all going to recover, and I think particularly the adults are going to be absolutely fine. And the fact that they've pulled through and the fact that the missing cub has turned up is really, really positive news and really looking good. However, hypothetically, if they were to be depleted, you were wondering if perhaps the hyena clan might come and sort of move back into this area and claim the Nkuhuma's territory. I'm not sure. We put forward the supposition that the hyenas had moved from this area because there was such a high concentration of lions and because the Nkuhumas had their cubs in this particular spot and therefore might have been a little bit more defensive of this area and more of a threat to the hyenas than they might otherwise be. But who knows? There might have been other factors involved as well. They seem to be having a wonderful time north of our boundary on Manialeti, in the Manialeti, around Dixie Koppies. Apparently the guides there have been enjoying some fantastic sightings with them. So I don't know. It's one of those difficult things that would be impossible to predict. Maybe. I mean, it's interesting that the hyena clan, it seems very coincidental that the hyena clan's always used these hyena dens, or at least over the last 2 years, that they've now moved off, and it's probably due to the lions. And that is what happens with lions. When you get high concentrations of lions, the other predators tend to suffer or tend to move out. My suspicion is also that that's one of the reasons why Karula has spent as much time as she has a little bit further to the south of us. And she seems to have, of all of the places, she's a very clever girl, of all of the places in this area, that area that she moves around in, the sort of northern boundary of Little Gowrie, the southern part of Djuma, they seem to be relatively lion-free at the moment. Certainly the lions wander through every now and again, but it's not like her living around Galago as she has in the past, where essentially these lions have lived for the last 3 months, except on our TV show. The last 3 months they've been here, but for our TV appearance they went 100 meters north into Buffelshoek property where we can't go, and then came back the next day. So we all had a good chuckle at the joys of live wildlife filming and the unpredictability. I think it was our fault, we were chatting about the plans for the television show the night before and where we were going to go, and all of us unanimously agreed that there was a 90% chance the Nkuhumas were going to be on Djuma. I can only assume that they overheard us and decided not to be for that particular day. Hey girls, what have you seen? The young lioness is still interested in something off in the distance. She's been watching the whole time. I can't see anything, but I mean, I can barely, at this point, now that we've had some rain, I can't see more than I would say about 40 meters, 50 meters into the bush. So I don't quite know what it is she's looking at, but she's looking at something. She does keep glancing across in that direction. She's not too bothered by it. It's not like she's gone into stalk mode or anything like that. Elephants. I haven't seen an elephant in a very long time. I might go look for some elephants this morning as well. No, hold on. It's lions fighting. Sorry, just let me listen. Sorry. Just trying to work out exactly where it was. Djuma dam camera. I know that you heard a little bit of, you saw that lion walking over the dam wall, the male lion. I think that was him. He's roaring, but I think I actually heard the sounds of them scrapping, which happens. We've seen it happen with Brent. I've had it happen in front of us as well. It's usually over a lady, though, so it'd be interesting if they were scrapping right now. But it's just almost their way of having a brotherly conversation, kind of like over rowdy boys. Hurry. I just need to hop onto the Game Drive channel. Somebody's calling me. Last station, sorry. Who are you calling? Negative, Herbie. I'm with the rest of the Pride. Whereabouts? It sounds sort of Gowrie, Cutline, Central side. Standing by yours. Okay, copy that. Thanks very much, yours. Okay. Brent is on his way to apparently it wasn't sounds of lions fighting. It's quite far away from me. It's on the other side of the dam wall. Apparently the elephants were trumpeting. They must have seen the lions, and then the lions started roaring. So Brent, I think from the sounds of things, he is racing across to go and see exactly what's happening there. We'll stick around here, spend a little bit more time with these lions, and then once Brent hopefully reaches his destination, then we'll probably move off for the rest, not the rest of the morning. We'll move off, we'll go and see what else we can find, and then we'll come back to these lions. They seem quite intent on the whole sleeping deal this morning. I think I have misheard your name, and for that I do apologize. It sounds like you're saying head up. I might just be from a sort of animal watching perspective. Oh, I did get it right. Amazing. Head up. You wanted to know how close these lions are to the leopard. Well, a very warm welcome to you, and my apologies for not being 100% certain as to your name. You wanted to know how far these lions are. They're probably about, in a straight line, just about 1 kilometer, maybe fraction less. So what's that? It's about 0.67 miles away from that leopard. Now this morning, that male lion must have walked right past Krula. Sorry, I've parked myself in a position where I'm actually almost staring straight into the sun, so I'm blinking away frantically, squinting at you. I'm sorry about that. So this morning, that male lion must have walked straight past Krula, and she was aware of it. However, I think that there's some exciting things happening with Brent. It seems as though he's found the elephants and the lions. Let's go and have a look.